Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I've had a few comments recently, or a few private messages about printing contact sheets. Now, in one of my previous videos I showed a contact sheet being printed and it was medium format, and a couple of people have asked me if I could print them on 35mm so they can see what they look like. Now, there's plenty of information online about this and also other YouTube videos, so I'm going to show you how I do a contact sheet on 35mm. And if anyone's got any comments, please leave it in the comments area. Now, this is how I do it, but if you've got any other ways or alternative ways of doing a contact sheet, then let us know in the comments, and the viewers that are watching this right now can refer to the comments after the video. So let's crack on and I'll show you what we're up to. So you can see I've laid it out. What I need to make my contact sheet is obviously my negatives. We'll come back to that in a moment. I also use a anti-static cloth to lay my negatives on while I'm working, and I've got my gloves here. Always important to use your gloves, otherwise you'll end up scratching your legs and it's not good fun. At least 10x8 paper to make contact sheets so you can lay your negatives on, and a piece of glass, and I'll show you this in a moment. Now, some people use machines, contact print machines, but I don't. I just use a piece of glass, job done. Now, although I've got my negatives inside this kind of semi-clear sleeve, I prefer to take my negatives out. Some people want to leave them in the sleeve to do the test print, but I prefer to take them out. That way I know that I've got nothing in between my negative and my contact sheet. That's all, just personal preference. So in a moment I'm going to be turning the lights off in the darkroom so I can make my test strip, evaluate the test strip, and then make the contact sheet. But it's quite difficult to show you with the red light on, so I'm going to show you just using already exposed paper, just so you can see what I'll be doing. The first thing I've got to do is set up the enlarger. So my enlarger, I've got the negative carrier inside, I've got the lens already on, and what I need to do is just project white light down onto the baseboard. So I need to make sure that I've got enough white light that's going to cover the area of the glass, basically. So what I always do is bring my enlarger up to its highest height, like so, and I'll just turn the lights off and show you the baseboard. Okay, so you can see the light. Here's the glass that I'm going to be working with. Let's place that down. And now let's make a focus. Just pulling the bellows in. And you can see the light stretching right across the baseboard. And I'm just making sure the edges of my light are nice and sharp. And that my contact printing is going to be done in the middle of this light. So it's going to be nice even light to work with. So the first thing to do is to make our test strip, and I'm going to leave the lights on for this and just give you a demonstration using already exposed paper so you can see what I'm doing. And then afterwards I'll turn the lights off, put the red light on, and we'll make a correct one. So these are the negatives here I'm going to work with. I already showed you the glass. Now imagine all the lights are out at the moment and the red light's on. I'll be taking the test strip of paper from my paper tray, and I'll be placing that down emulsion side up, yeah? And then try not to handle your negatives without gloves on, otherwise you'll end up scratching them, and later on down the line you'll be like, oh, why didn't I put gloves on? So let's just take this one negative here to work with. Okay, so this is going to be placed on top of the paper emulsion side down, which is glossy side up. Now that used to confuse me, years and years ago it used to confuse me. Everyone was talking about emulsion side down. I was like, well, what side's the emulsion side? Until some bright spark said the glossy side is not the emulsion side, so that's how I always remembered it. But yeah, glossy side up, emulsion side down. And that's it. Remember, this is done in the dark with the red light on. Next thing, your glass, make sure it's clean. This is clean, so that's good. And then we'll place our glass over the top. Okay, that's ready for exposure. So we're going to need to do a test strip. That's when the cover card comes into play. And I'm going to do test strips of 2 seconds. So I'm going to set the timer for 2 seconds and cover half of each photograph. So I end up with a range of 2-second intervals, if you like. So let's pretend we're doing that now. Turn the timer on, first 2 seconds, then I'll cover half of the photograph for another 2 seconds, 2 seconds, 2 seconds, 2 seconds, 2 seconds, 2 seconds, 2 seconds. You get the idea. So that's what I'm going to be doing, and then I'll take the test strip out, stick it in the developer, stop and fix. So let's get on with that now. I'm going to turn the lights off, put the red light on, get real paper out, and we'll make a first test strip. Okay, hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to bring a test strip piece of paper here. Put my negative on top, like we just said. Put the glass on. I'm free to take the glove off now. And we'll start doing this for 2 seconds. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Okay, so that's increments of 2 seconds. Let's stick it in the developer and evaluate the test strip. Okay, and it goes. So I'm counting this now. This will be in here for a whole minute. I'm not going to go through the whole process because that would just be too long to watch on the video. So this will be in the developer now for a whole minute, and then I'll put it in the stop bar for 30 seconds and then whack it in the fixer for another minute. Wash and then make sure it's dry before I'll start evaluating it. You just see the image coming through now. So I'll leave that to develop, and we'll come back to the test print in a moment. Okay, so when I'm looking at this test strip, I'm not going to be looking at the images at all. I'm not going to be looking, this looks quite nice, but I'm not going to be looking at that. I'm going to be looking at the edge of the negative against the black of the paper. And what I'm trying to achieve is I want what's called maximum black. I want to try and get my edge of my negative to match the blackness of the paper. So obviously that's 2 lights, 2 seconds, 4, 6, 8. I can just about see it changing now, but there's still a similar difference between the edge of the negative and the black of the paper. I need it to go darker, and this is 10, and even now I can still see it. 12 seconds, I can barely see a difference between the paper and the edge of the negative. So this is telling me that I need to make a contact print or contact sheet at 12 seconds. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so now we're going to make the contact sheet. I'll leave the lights on again, just do a demonstration using already exposed paper. So here's my 10 by 8 sheet here. Okay, so in a moment in the dark, this is what I'll be doing. Putting my gloves on, and then I'll be placing my negatives like so. Emulsion side down. Try and keep them neat if you can. It doesn't matter, but just looks more presentable if you're going to be showing people. Okay, so now they're on there neatly. Get my glass, put it over the top. Bonza, gloves off. Then I'll set my timer to 12 seconds. Okay, so far we've got our negatives out ready for action. We've sorted out the enlarger, we changed the height, and we've got enough white light to cover the area we're working with. We've done a test strip. We've already evaluated the test strip and decided that we need 12 seconds for the contact sheet that I've already just showed you with the lights on how I'm going to be printing. So the next thing to do is to turn the lights off, get the red light on, get a real piece of paper out, put the negatives onto the paper that I'm going to be using, which is Ilford multigrade by the way, and make a test sheet and see how it looks. Okay, let's lay the negatives down. Notice I've got my gloves on again. And the last one. And remember what I said, these negatives have got to be emulsion side down, glossy side up, and obviously the paper has got to be the emulsion side up, otherwise you'll be exposing onto nothing. The glass on top, little wipe over. Now I can take my gloves off. Okay, so we've already set the timer for 12 seconds. Off we go. That's done. Let's develop it and see what we come up with. And it goes into the developer now. It's important that you keep the same times as your test strip. So this is going to be in here for 1 minute. You'll see it coming through in a sec. And then I stop for 30 seconds, fixed for another minute. And also it's a good idea to make sure that your developer is fresh for your contact sheets. Okay, it's starting to come through now, so I'll skip past this piece. We'll stop it, fix it, stick it on the wall and have a look. Okay, and that's it. This is done. This is my final contact sheet here that you can see, and I'll just get another lens on and we'll go closer in. Okay, so this is a closer view now. I've got a macro lens on it. You can just about barely see the sprocket holes here, and that's what we was aiming for, is for the edge of the negative to be as black as the paper behind, which is what they call a maximum black. Now this is the way I was shown years ago to make a contact sheet, and it's the way I've always done it. So there you go, that's how I make my contact sheets. The negatives are now back inside the sleeves, and I've got my contact sheet or contact print that will sit on top of the sleeve and go back in the folder. Yeah, pretty happy with this contact sheet. I know it's the best I'm going to get, and like I said at the start of the video, if anyone's got any comments to make about this, please do. If there's anything you see that I've done wrong, stick it in the comments for other people to see, and also for me to see as well. This is the way I was shown, and this is what I've always done. You know, so it might be good for the viewers to read the comments if there is anything in there that that might help people when they're making contact sheets. So it's something I was always confused about, contact sheet printing, and I know many others are as well. So I hope that's helped. Please subscribe to my channel, please like the video. And before I go, I must give a shout out to George Turner. George emailed me and showed me some of the photographs that he's going to be exhibiting in London for the London Camera Club, and it's called Deconstructing London. So I'll just post up a flyer and a few of the photographs that George has taken, and some of the photographs that he's going to be exhibiting at the exhibition, which is between the 5th and the 17th of March. So if you're in the area, get yourself over there and have a look at some of George's photos. Guys, thanks a lot. I'll catch you later.